Hi, I just want to share with something that I went over about 2 weeks ago, and I had a really interesting result, and it's over metabolic rates. And one thing that's happening a lot is people think that if they are overweight or bigger, they have a slow, and if they are skinny, they have a fast. And that's wrong, and let me show the easy answer why. Right here, all we have is metabolic rate equation. And what you're going to see right here is there is a difference between men and women. There's a base number that we start off with, and then we have a multiplier here that goes off of your weight, your height, and your age. But the important thing to take out of this equation is, notice it doesn't have anything about genetics. Notice it doesn't have anything about disease. What this is pretty much saying is, as you have more cells in your body, those cells require more energy to stay alive. If you just didn't have the energy, they will die off. Thanos snap out of existence. But now here's the thing. When we look at the weight, this is the highest multiplier. 13.3 for men and 9.2 for women for the weight. The second biggest factor is the age. And for men, every single year you are of age, you subtract 5.6 for men and 4.3 for women. Now, the last one, the least important one, is your height. And you can see the numbers here, but pretty much your height will never change. Or technically, maybe you may shrink a little bit, but more or less you stay the same height relatively. So the big rule of factors that will be changing is your age. By every year, you are subtracting either 5 or 4 calories total off the total sum, and your weight, plus or minus in kilograms, you will be adding 13 or 9, or adding and subtracting those amounts based on your kilograms. So instead of doing this by hand, we can go to calculator.net, and you can just punch it in right here. And again, just age, male or female, your height, your weight. And I think you can go in here and change it to be in the metric system. But all that I've done now is I have collected the data for since January, February, March of 2020 to today. And okay, these are every single day. But see this column here? This is the weekly average. Okay. Well, this one, here's all those weekly averages on the left. Now, this new column is the monthly averages. Okay. Now, this chart, so again, we have January, February, March 2020 to this current month, kind of, and these are purple because they're estimated. But as the weight has gone down, let me make it a little bit bigger. Bigger, bigger, bigger. As my weight has gone down, my metabolic rate has gone down also. And just to show that, we have these charts right here that we can that I can show you. Literally, as the weight has gone down, my metabolic rate has also gone down in the same fashion. This little part right here, this massive drop, was unnatural. I lost a lot of weight really quickly. This is when I had COVID. Now, did I know? Did I get tested? No. All I know is I woke up in the middle of the night. I thought I heard geese in my parking lot in the middle of the night at like 3 a.m. And I'm like, I know I'm hearing stuff. I know I'm hearing shit. The other thing was, later that night, I could hear my cat meowing and meowing and meowing and meowing. And eventually, I made eye contact with her and looked at her, and I could still hear her meowing. And I was like, your mouth isn't moving. I can still hear you. It's like, I know I'm hallucinating because I could still hear her meowing, 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 and her mouth was completely still, just looking at me all innocent and stuff. So I knew I was hallucinating. I was like, yeah, this is probably COVID. Whatever. But I had that for a day or two, and then I was fine. But I haven't had hallucinations like that ever before. So I kind of tie that along with how much weight I lost in that time period, and then you can kind of go here where I regained the weight and stuff like that. But the important part is this. That's the only part that we need to kind of go is the unnatural part. The rest of this is all natural weight loss. And then when my body fully recovered, okay, now we're back to the natural weight loss pattern again. But look how identical weight is literally to metabolic rate. Now, I think after you see this equation right here, no one's going to question that the biggest factor is your weight. I think no one would question that. But the interesting thing is this. When you tell someone that is overweight that because a lot of them think that since they are bigger, they have a low metabolic rate, a metabolism. And you literally show them the math, you literally punch in their own, and you show that theirs is actually higher. Like for me, I show that it's higher than mine. And they get furious. I was like, I'm just showing you the basic equation. And I literally go, okay, here's your number, here's my number, done. And they get mad. Now, I can understand because their perspective of how their body works has now kind of been shattered. Their worldview has kind of been distorted. But the interesting part, too, is if we go the other way around, skinny people think they have a high metabolic rate, a metabolism. And they don't. Because again, the bigger you are or smaller you are, that has to do with how many cells you have in your body and how much energy you need to keep them alive on a daily basis. But when the skinny people find out that they don't have a high metabolic rate metabolism, they get mad also. I had one person almost get physical with me on this subject. I had another person get like verbally mad, and then once I show both of them the equation instead of using the calculator, the straight up equation, like their face is just like like they just saw an angel or something like that, or they saw a miracle happen. They're flabbergasted. They don't know what to think, and they usually walk away from the situation. And it's like, what is causing this response? What is causing people to do this? And that's the part that really gets me interested, is their reaction of once they find out the truth. So it's not necessarily that people are wrong, but how they react once they've learned the truth. I do need to do some research to find out what is causing this error to be shared. Now, the other part that's important for us for running is this. As you are become more and more athletic, your body is seeking ways to make yourself lighter because you're becoming more active. So extra spacing between the organs, fluids, all this other stuff will just get reduced more to try to make your body lighter and lighter and lighter. So what happens is your metabolic rate will be higher and it will go down over time. Well, as your metabolic rate is, and this is traditionally, as your metabolic rate is higher, your energy output when you exercise is lower. But as your metabolic rate goes down, your energy output starts to go up more. Then eventually your metabolic rate is at that prime part where you're, at a certain weight, and you can constantly be outputting more and more energy. So these two act inverse of each other. Metabolic rate and energy output. They are completely inverse of each other. But it's almost like people are getting metabolic rate and energy output swapped. They think like energy output is what they are knowing versus metabolic rate. So it's just interesting to see what the reactions people were having. Um, and honestly, did you think you had a low, high metabolic rate? What did you think? And the, it's just an interesting little factor that I ran into. But the response caught my attention, really, really interesting. But just keep in mind, as you lose weight, your energy output will only increase or should increase more and more and more and more. Okay? That's what we really need to know as far as bikers, cardio, anything. These two are inverse of each other. So if we're really, really, really overweight, we can probably only pump out like, a couple hundred calories an hour. But then as we lose weight, we can start going up more and more and more and more. And right now, I guess I can just pull up the data. My metabolic rate is around 1620, we could say, if you average these two out. But a day, that's how many calories I need to have a day just to keep my cells alive. And my max energy output right now, as of today, is around 1300 per hour. So, just an interesting thing to keep note of. Just an interesting thing to keep note of. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. And, yeah, I appreciate you guys. Like, share, subscribe, all that stuff. My VO2 max video did very, very well. I'm going to be creating another video that's going to be off of showing the heart rate and why that is actually far superior versus any VO2 max number you have. And actually how you can use your heart rate to actually project what you can do with your workouts. You guys take care. Be safe.